Mama's in the living room watching Judge Judy. I'm in the kitchen eating leftover sushi. And she yells, oh, girl, you gotta hear this one. A man was arrested for running the theme park. And when they said, where's your license? He said, my dog ate it. Oh, you can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on her Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, girl, you gotta hear this one. Mama loves to laugh at how absurd life is, says it's all a comedy and I'm her audience. And I love the way she makes fun of the world. She said, you'll never guess what's with their girlfriend. It was a man who didn't get us out of the bed. He said, I've been through hell and now I need some help. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, girl, you gotta hear this one.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Squid. For those of you who followed me over here from the last stream, welcome. Squid raid on Squid. It's weird to say, but you know, I always like to raid myself. Hope everybody is doing well. And Jeffrey, thanks for getting us started this afternoon with a $2 super chat. The non-grifter grift is a grifter's nightmare. Oh, how many times can you say grift in one channel or in one sentence? Oh my goodness. Yes, you're everybody's favorite worst grifter in the world. Everybody calls me a grifter and I'm like, However, I might get my grift on just a tiny bit in the sense of I have these transcripts for this trial from a certain dodgy Robbie, and the first round of transcripts was $17. So there's that. Oh my God, Squid breaking news. Jingris is going to represent Swallow Owens in a oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And hey Tammy, how are you? All right, so we are going to get straight into this. And Stephen Amborn, how are you doing? And sorry to anybody I missed. Kathy Gordon, hello all. All right, we are going to get straight into this with the first part. And we are going to, there we go, this part. We are going to talk about the judge's order from yesterday. I did read this when it first came out. And that being said, I did also read or hear this on the part of the experts channel last night. I passed out. And Marcus King 91, thank you for the $49.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you, Squid. No, thank you. I wouldn't have this, I wouldn't have this channel if it wasn't for y'all. So, I am grateful for everything that's, and please thank you so much for helping me with that Pacer bill, because that way Mr. Squid doesn't go, you spend how much on documents? That way I don't get, and Cynthia, thank you for the $20 Venmo. I appreciate you so very, very much. Legal paperwork. Thank you. You all have no idea how much I appreciate that. It is very unexpected And I don't expect anything. That's part of the reason I monetize my streams. So you get a little interruption with the ads, but at the same time, then I get a little bit out of it and don't have to work for super chats. And Blue Amaryllis, how are you? Xavier Toledo, my dream show, you size my oh my goodness, how are you? And Gwen and Tammy, Dan Davis, how are you? And Tree God, oh my God, all my best people are here. All right, we're gonna get straight into this. This was filed yesterday. Oh, and it's document 104. So we are up to document 104 in what, less than 6 months? Yeah. We other cases that I've followed in federal court only have 200 documents and they're over 10 years old. And so when this is littered with paperwork, 2 cases like this, I can completely understand why the judge is pissed. He does get a little snarky in this from time to time. And Squid Darling, look how far you've come. 4,100 subs, and it's just wow, so happy for you. Thank you so much. I didn't expect when I hit 100, I was like, I'm in triple digits. And now to have 4,100, the goal is 4,500 by Christmas. We are like before this, yeah, we're covering this case. Yeah, we're going to be looking into the Robbie from the past documents to see if he was, how his personality and his situation have changed since when he was in federal court back in 2012 and 2013 to now. And Girl Who Loves Cats, thank you for the £4.99 super sticker. And I really, really wish that StreamYard would get their shit together where you could see what the super stickers were without going into the YouTube chat. But incredible. I love that one. Just all right. Yeah, Judge Bolitho really does his stuff. Give it to Gator Boy. Yeah, he does. He does. Nope, not 4,500. We want 5,000 by Christmas. We'll share this stream out because we also have other things. I need to look into Zachary Young and the updates in him suing U.S. News and World Reports. Hey Juliet, how are you? With these names, YouTube being weird, it's hard for me to tell who's who. So if I don't recognize you and you're like, it's me, I apologize. I'm not doing it on purpose. So, wait, it was only 2012. I thought it was years ago. We will get to that. We will get to that. We will get through this first. This is 4 pages of fun. So this is from Judge Bolitho. Before the court, defendant Robert Kesey's motion to quash service or in the alternative motion to extend time. Plaintiff opposed the motion. The motion will be denied in part and granted in part, which is generally the case. Hey, Deborah, how are you? And Ammo's girl been here lurking as always. Ammo's girl, I love you, girl. Defendant Kesey argues that service was improper because 1, personal service is required. 2, leaving papers on a gate is not valid service. The process server's affidavit is false. And 4, plaintiffs have abused the judicial process in delaying service. Oh my God. Like, I did watch Jeremy's video about this, and I did watch all of Shara's video. However, one does not need to watch those videos to look at this and be like, something's rotten in Denmark. Like, something just doesn't add up here. Like, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know Jeremy is not the one doing the delaying. When he is on his live streams and his videos going, if you know where these people are, please let me know. That is not called delaying. That is not a delay. That is I want to get these people served immediately so we can get on with this bullshit. Because the faster we get through this, the faster I get on with my life. The avatars don't change, only the name. You can remember some of the avatars. At least you don't know who some of the people are. Yeah, the avatars I remember. Like, I the avatars look familiar, but sometimes when you see so many people's avatars, you can't put names with avatars. Like, I remember pictures, it's like remembering faces. Like, I know you, I know you, I know you. I just can't remember what your name is. Uh, so, hi, Gary. And Dan Davis, thank you for the $5 super chat. Did you say workout in chat? Does that mean you're going to have a 5-minute workout every hour while you stream? LOL jumping jacks. No, but I do have um, my room's a little messy right now because I redid part of my master bedroom closet and I'm redoing the closet in the office here. So right now there is stuff pulled out of the closet. I'm doing like a little fall purge, getting rid of stuff. If I haven't used it in a year, I didn't remember I had it. I didn't remember where I put it, and I don't need it. It's getting out. But I am going to be using the trampoline that's over here. It's for baby squid, but it's also a really good workout if you want to work on your balance and core without even thinking about it. You just jump on a trampoline for a few minutes. Robbie's own document contradicted itself and revealed that he had known someone was trying to serve him. Yeah, and when you go on a podcast quite often and talk about this case that you know you're involved in and you talk to the other defendants and you know you're a defendant, it's kind of dumb in my opinion. This is personally my opinion, but I think it's kind of stupid to know that you're involved in a case, talk to the other defendants, but still like, oh, I'm being served? Huh? What do you mean? That's just stupid. That's stupid. Like, like you watch shows, you have people on your show, you go on other shows where people are literally reading the documents. You can see your name listed as a defendant, and you are surprised that someone's trying to serve you. What the? Oh my God! You're either really, 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 really stupid. You're either more stupid than anybody in this world, or you're lying. So, plaintiffs respond that service was proper because defendant Kezi has been evading service. Under Rule 4E, individual defendants may be served by following state service laws or by delivering a copy of the summons and of the complaint to the individual personally, leaving a copy of each at the individual's dwelling or usual place of abode with someone of suitable age and discretion who resides there, or delivering a copy to each an agent authorized to receive service of process. Dixon v. Blanc, 11th Circuit 2020. Despite these requirements, a method known as drop service is proper if a party being served attempts to avoid service. Yeah, they act like if you ignore it, it'll go away. That's not how this shit works. Oh, if they just can't find me, it'll go away. That's not how this shit works. That's not how any of this shit works. Because even if the judge was like, okay, he has to be removed from this lawsuit because you couldn't serve him in time, Jeremy will sue him again and file a separate lawsuit. And then guess what? You don't have other defendants to hide behind. You are the one and only defendant. So you don't have this, oh, now I can hide and wait till she's done delaying and then I can take my turn at delaying. And also, if you're going to purposely delay a court case, don't be stupid enough to go on the internet and talk about it. I mean, not life advice or anything, but like just saying. Just saying. If you're going to be stupid enough to do it, don't go on the internet and talk about it like it's a joke. Because this shit is not a joke. And guess what? You're not trying this case in the court of public opinion. We've moved long beyond the court of public opinion. Right now, whatever the hater page says or any YouTuber, including me, says, really doesn't fucking matter as far as what the judge goes. Because the judge don't give two shits about me, doesn't give two shits about Jeremy's YouTube channel other than what's in the documents, doesn't give a shit about anybody. Tug, Megan, blah, 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 doesn't care. He only cares about what's in the damn documents. He doesn't care about who's talking about this shit on the internet. That's none of his fucking business, nor does he give a damn. Here we go. He's probably used to hiding from cops and bill collectors. Yeah. Yeah, once stupid days served, this federal 2 case can move forward. Yeah, and I have thoughts on that. When you're I mean, once again, not to tell anybody how to run their YouTube channels or anything, but if you have to wear glasses, um, when you're streaming, and this is nothing against people who wear glasses, because I am literally the only person in my entire family who doesn't have glasses. With that being said, if you're going to stream with a ring light and glasses, make sure you're not in the same damn room, or make sure you're not looking directly at the light where, I don't know, the light reflects off your glasses and you can see the entire room in the reflection of your glasses. Because you have those people who will take screenshots, enhance those screenshots, highlight the reflection, and show that you are in the exact same damn room that you've been in since you started your YouTube channel. Just because you rearrange your furniture and try to make it look like a different room, it ain't. Word to the wise, if you stream and you need glasses, it might be a good idea if you're trying to hide to wear contacts. Just a thought. Thank you, Squid. Kitty Squid, for pointing that out. I do just for those of you who are new here or don't know me, I am from the same town. I do not live there. I'm 1,000 miles away. However, I am from the same town, um, as Milltown's best or worst. I call it Milltown's worst because as far as YouTubers go, I am Milltown's best. Just saying. Not to have a, you know, not to toot my own horn, but if you're gonna get somebody from Milwaukee who's on YouTube who might be better than Super Dave, it's me. Um, uh, yeah, basically he has been served since he acknowledged it, and he's evading service since aware of the lawsuit on multiple live streams. Yeah. So for those of you here who aren't aware, I posted on my personal Facebook page about anybody who wants $1,000. Jeremy is looking for information on where to find this person. Um, so there's a bunch of people in the city who messaged me and are now providing Jeremy with information. Uh, so yeah. So there's that. All right, we'll get back into this after I went on my little rant. Sorry. It's sure not Milwaukee's best beer. No, Milwaukee's best beer, I'm pretty sure one of my grandpas kept PBR open personally on his own for a year or for years when he worked for the Milwaukee Road. And then my other grandpa, I'm pretty sure, kept Schlitz open. If you know, you know. But Line and Kugel's Summer Shandy is the best beer that has a brewery in Milwaukee ever. They might have shut it down, but I didn't. Yeah, this right here too. Poor LP's deposition in her glasses. They told everything. I do not like wearing glasses. Like I have mine right here. But you can see if I do not need to wear them on a stream, I don't because I put them on and you can see everything. And I just don't. uh Someone has told Jeremy stupid Dave is in Kansas. Yeah, and it's one of those things, it's one of those things too. I'm pretty sure that Jeremy being Jeremy, because I know I would, throws out false information from here and there to make people think certain things. But yeah, I think he's in the exact same house that he's been in all the time. I have a couple of addresses, but one was owned by his brother or rented by his brother. It looks like rented. Yeah, I have a few addresses, and the funny thing is when you have friends in that town who don't live that far away, yeah, they might run into you at, like, the local pick and save, bro. Like, so when you're hiding, you better be damn hiding because, I casted a net over that damn city with my friends who have no idea who Jeremy Hales is or was or want nothing to do with this except for, a little entertainment of being able to find somebody that's being served with a lawsuit. Um, so there's that. Yes, JH loves the misdirection. Hmm. Why the hell did they change the brewery for Old Milwaukee for the past 25 years? Tasted like crap. I have no idea. I am a spotted cow kind of person. I've spotted cow in the fridge. My dad bought me a six-pack when he came down here. There's still 4 left, so that tells you exactly how much I drink, but, you know, he came down here for the little's birthday at the end of last month, and, I still have 4 of the six-pack left. So, um, I have mixed feelings about that. I have no idea, but I wouldn't be surprised. Um, mm, I don't know. One of the people on my, Facebook page, though, is an FBI agent, so there's that. Like, and hey, David E. Jones. Whenever I see that, I wanna say Davy Jones, like Davy Jones's locker. Thanks for the 4.99. The anti-Hales ecosystem is all about costing Jeremy as much as possible out of spite, not for not giving them handouts. I pray swift justice every day. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and yes, Jeremy does make I would assume, a good bit on his YouTube channel. Don't have access to his financials, just based on how much people super chat, and also the fact of how many subscribers he has. And, you see the video count, and I know how much I make per, like, 1,000 views, so I can only imagine between all his businesses what he is bringing in. If he wanted to, I'm sure Jeremy would set up could set up a Give, Send, Go or a GoFundMe and be like, "Here's for my legal fees," and shut everybody up on the anti What the Hales ecosystem permanently because he would have more than enough money to do whatever. But that doesn't strike me as Jeremy's personality. I don't know him. We don't talk. But he could do that, but do you notice he's not? So love or hate Jeremy, he's using his funds and his already established businesses, YouTube, whatnot, everything else to pay for his legal fees instead of doing what the other side is doing and going, "Oh, give me money for my legal fees." I mean, Jeremy could easily set up a Give, Send, Go or GoFundMe and have thousands of dollars within a day. I'm sure. Like I'm pretty damn positive. Um, hey, Auntie, yeah, What the Hales he does have a GoFundMe? Oh, I didn't know, but I never hear him advertise it, so maybe that's part of the thing. It's one thing to have it, it's another thing to throw it in people's faces every 5 seconds, like certain people. I don't know. Squid missed it again. What did I miss? I'm so sorry. Like, uh, yeah, if JH says there's federal investigations, it's the absolute truth. I don't doubt that there is. I It's one of those things if you never actually know unless you've seen it. And I take everything with a grain of salt. I I take everything with a grain of salt, you know. Yeah, the thing is what's happening to Jeremy and George could happen to any YouTuber. That is one of the things that is making, from my perspective, this so fascinating because I am interested in how the courts, because even when I went to the police department in my town and I filed a police report against the people threatening to call CPS on me, mostly to say, "Hey, if you get a call, this is what's going on," and establish a paper trail. That person ended up being Bruce, and Bruce's wife, who I later went and added their names to that initial. I tried to amend that initial complaint. They ended up sending me a new one, but that's neither here nor there. But as much as they wanted to help me out and they were like, "Okay, blah, 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 blah," they were like, "It's just YouTube." And I'm like, have you not, like, tell me you are from a podunk town without telling me? Like, it okay, and here, he did not set the GoFundMe up, one of his mods did it. That thanks, Sharon. Thanks for yeah, thanks for that. Um, so, yes, this case is going to set a precedent. And being a YouTuber who some people apparently despise, um, I'm officially retired. You're retired? Like, eh. Okay, yeah, he talked about it once or twice and that was it. It's like it's there if you wanna donate to it, great, but, like, it's not something that he pushes, unlike people who on the other side who are like, "Oh, woe is me. Woe is me. I need help with my legal fees." So, walks around the room hitting everyone thumbs up for Amos Girl. All right, let's get into this. Let's keep going. I've sidetracked enough with a 4-page document. Um, there's some things in this where you look at the judge and you're like, you can tell that the judge is just sick of this bullshit. So, all right. Despite these requirements, a method known as drop service is proper if any party being served attempts to avoid service, and the process server leaves the papers at a place from which such a person can easily retrieve them and takes reasonable steps to call such delivery to the attention of the person being served. Wendell v. International Real Estate News, LLC, Southern District of Florida, 2020. Adopted Southern District of Florida, September 29th, 2020. And, quote, the court will not require a plaintiff to expend limitless resources in order to effect service upon a defendant who has actual notice of a suit and who intentionally evades service, which is exactly what Robbie is doing and bragging about doing. It's, hey, Dad, how are you? Hey, Dan, you and my dad have something in common. Signed up yesterday for Social Security of 62 years. Just, yep, Papa Squid is retiring in a few months. So everybody, congratulate Papa Squid and tell him it's about damn time. Lancaster v. Bottle Club, LLC, Middle District of Florida, October 31st, 2017. Here's where it gets interesting. It appears that defendant Kesey has attempted to evade service. The affidavits of the disinterested process servers confirm at least 5 attempts to serve process in May and June of 2025. 4 additional attempts were made in July of 2025. And the court need not expound on the obvious evasion efforts taken on July 15th. Yeah, the judge is aware. The judge is aware. Like, if you were wondering if the judge was aware, the judge is fully aware. Defendant Kesey does not dispute that the summons and complaint were left at the gate to his property, and it is also clear that he has actual notice of the suit filed against him. Thus, quashing service is unwarranted here. Footnote 1. For the reasons above, the court finds that service was properly perfected against defendant Kesey on July 15, 2025, as stated by the process server's affidavit. Footnote 2. Defendant Kesey will, however, be granted the requested 30 days to respond to plaintiff's second amended complaint. That's where I have a quandary with the judge. Like, that's where my criticism of the judge comes in. Obviously, I'm not a judge, but like, I would have gone with Jeremy's 2 weeks. Because you've been doing this for a while. You should have been coming up with a response to this lawsuit for a while. Why should I give you another 30 days? You have 2 weeks. Like, I just, like, we should have just, that's where I had problem with the judge, but yeah. And Tammy, I see your point. And the judge gives all defendants 30 days. I understand that. However, this is not your typical, request for 30 days. This is, I've evaded service for 4 months, and now I'm requesting an actual 30 days. Well, Jeffrey, 2 separate things. The only in Federal 2, the only person who the case has been stayed for is Lynette. Everybody else, you're still on your timeline. Suck it up, buttercup. Figure it out. The only person who Federal 2 has been stayed for is Lynette. Federal 1 has been stayed because Lynette's half of the battle in that one. But I think the judge is writing a book. Could you imagine? I would buy that book to hear what the judge's thoughts about this case after this case is over. I would actually buy that book. I would love to this is never going to happen because one, it's a federal judge, and two, I have 4,100 subscribers. I am not a big. I'm not even considered a mid-sized YouTube channel. I am a peanut. But I would love to have a conversation with the judge. I would love it. Yeah, this is basically being rewarded for lying to the court. Yeah. In this case, the guy that's been evading, so the judge could have said, I would have granted 30 days. At this point, you're evading. Therefore, we will prorate 30 days to 0. Yeah, that would have been me being petty. I would have said, you've had enough time to respond to this. You've been evading service. I would have put in a default judgment, but that's just me. That's just me being uber petty. But you know, good Lord. Good Lord. Yeah, Robbie's daughter committed perjury when she lied to the process server, saying we probably don't live there. She was willingly lied to a court officer. Yeah, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. Like, so bad. And I don't know what issues you're talking about when you responded to that comment, but I'm looking forward to having those issues. I hope it, we adore that petty side of you. Yeah, and that's like, I need to buy some petty princess merch. A fool and their money are easily parted. Yeah, well, it is what it is, and at the end of the day, like, you can't stop someone for doing what they want to do with their money. I mean, I wouldn't have done that, but it's good. My channel is a mustard seed of a channel. Yeah, but mine's not much bigger. It might seem bigger. However, in the grand scheme of things, when I follow YouTube channels with 2.5 million subscribers, my 4,100 is like a raindrop in an ocean. So, yes, petty princess. All right. Accordingly, it is ordered that defendant Kezi's motion to quash service or in the alternative motion to extend time is denied in part to the extent it seeks to quash the service of process against him and granted in part to the extent that Kezi must respond to plaintiff's amended complaint within 30 days. I know that it's 30 days and I know I disagree with the judge. However, the judge does 30 days. My assumption would be because that he gave everybody else 30 days, and if he didn't give Kezi 30 days, Kezi could bitch that the judge is being biased against him, blah, 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 blah. Oh, Malin. Squid, my dear friend, must jump off. My ex-husband turned up to thank. Oh, so thank you for today. To see you around. Take care. Bye, Malin. Have a great night. Yeah, until this judge rules on it, it's technically wide open. Anybody's ball game. God help us. I honestly, I don't know. It all depends on what Randy charges, and I don't know what that is. But here's the footnotes. I got a new mouse, so I'm getting used to using my new mouse, and I keep screwing things up. So I apologize if things go like that. I'm having an interesting time going from like this little one button mouse to this. It's interesting to say the least. I like it. It's just interesting. And oh boy. All right. Footnote 1. See Frank Keevan and Son Inc. v. Callier Steel Pipe and Tube, Southern District of Florida, 1985, acknowledging that both Florida and federal courts have held that actual notice of a complaint coupled with good faith attempted service may be sufficient to confer personal jurisdiction, especially when a defendant has acted to evade service of process and finding effective service in view of Raggio's knowledge of the action, his travel schedule, and veil of secrecy with which he shrouded his whereabouts. And the fact that Robbie's wife works for the Sumter County Sheriff's Office is shady in itself. You think you heard Randy, it was up to $400 per hour. Honestly, that's not that bad. That is not that bad. I have seen lawyers that charge $1,300 an hour. $1,300 for an hour of work. Holy crap. Could you imagine $1,300 for an hour of work? I can't imagine even what that looks like. Steve, man, JH is out over $900K. Yeah, but it's just two things. I hope that it, one, sets a precedence for YouTube issues, because this is a new area of, honestly, online content creation is a new business venture, and that's only popped up in the last really 10 to 15 years, and courts haven't had much experience with it. So we're like, we have no precedence on what to do with online crap. Yes, states are coming up with cyber harassment and anti-bullying, online bullying laws, but there's a difference between having the law in the books, actually prosecuting it, having precedent, and actually knowing what these things, how to handle these things in the court systems. And this, I'm hoping, will, one, be a huge precedent setter for online issues and online safety for everybody. And second, as we can tell, a lot of these people have been doing this for a very long time and getting away with things that probably they should not have gotten away with. So I think, and I believe, that Jeremy is trying to be like, the buck stops here. Like, I'm not going to let you, like the whole Leslie lawsuit. Could he have let that go and just said, I don't want to deal with you anymore? Like, it's been dismissed with prejudice. Leave it, like, just let it go. Yes. But at the same time, how many other people is she going to sue when she gets pissed, going, well, I'm a former lawyer. I'm a retired lawyer. I can sue you. And in a sue happy society, being labeled a vexatious litigant is important, not for Jeremy, but for the person who knocks on her door and she gets pissed off. So there's that, make awesome commentary and I'll be hooked for life. I'm just giving you my opinion, and that's all I can. Hey, damned eternal rewatch crew, because YouTube is crap at notifying us, and I am early. I did a stream before this for a hearing for Mickey Steins, and I just decided to go straight into this to get it done and over with, instead of waiting an hour, taking a break, and just we rated ourselves. All right, and footnote 2, see Banco Latino SACA versus Gomez Lopez, Southern District of Florida, 1999, stating that a notice of a complaint coupled with a good faith attempted service is sufficient to confer jurisdiction where a party is evading service or process, and noting that a defendant should not be able to defeat service merely by refusing to accept the papers. Yeah, you can't get out of a lawsuit just because you say, I don't accept that. At a point, it's like, too effing bad. Get over it. So sad. Fight your battle in court. And somebody said it earlier, and I did not put the comment on screen, but I think it was Tammy, who, if you're innocent and you think you are in the right, and these people go on streams all the time and talk about how awful Jeremy is, whether you like Jeremy personally or you hate Jeremy personally is totally not the issue here. The issue is whether he has a point in that you defamed him and you conspired against him to cost him money. And when it comes to money, we don't play. Like, there's certain things that you just don't play with, and money is one of them. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it sure as shit makes life easier. See also Chamberlain v. Integraclick, Inc. Reading is fundamental. Northern District of Florida, 2011, where it is evident that plaintiffs have tried to comply with every available means to provide defendant with notice that defendant does have actual notice of suit, and that defendant has been evading service. It seems futile to require plaintiffs to expend countless additional resources in order to effect service upon defendants. Your stream you're putting together on Dodgy Robbie will be really good. Speaking of that, here is the indictment. So I have this is the first part, and to show y'all that I have it, here it is. This is the first part. This is the transcripts of the jury trial. And here is all the, right there, defendant, Robert Kesey. So that is what I have. That's the first part. This was 172 pages was the first document. So, yeah, that right there is how you know either you're a weakling, Gen Z beta, or you're lying, or both. But here is what we are going through today. I am putting together a group of people who I want to help me read that. I have to, I have people in mind, but I also want to, it's hard to coordinate everything because, you got different people's schedules, different time zones, different countries. And some people are retired, some people work from home, some people don't work at all. Like we have to find times that fit. But I figured I would give you a little teaser with the indictment and what he was actually charged with, because I've heard people talk about the fact that he went to prison, but I don't think, and reptile this and reptile that, but let's read what he actually was charged with. All right, and this is Glades Herp Farm. Whenever I think herp farm, that's not what comes to mind. Something else comes to mind. I'm not going to say it out loud, but y'all can, in the end, JH knows that he's not going to be made whole. He's doing all this for the people and the future of journalism. Yeah, and I can, like I said, you don't have to like Jeremy's personality or be a super fan of his to understand why he's doing certain things and think he's in the right. Because at the end of the day, I don't have to be best friends with someone to think they're right about a situation. Yeah. Wasn't going to say it. It's good. They're going to love you. Yeah, they already hate me, so I might as well give them something to talk about. Anyway, grand jury, count 1, conspiracy. Or have you heard that before? Background, defendant Glades. We're just going to go with Glades. Otherwise, I'm going to crack up laughing because, a Florida corporation was engaged in business of buying and selling wildlife, particularly reptiles. Defendant Robbie McKins was part owner and manager of defendant Glades. You know what? If I'm mispronouncing his name, I really don't give a crap because I don't give a crap. Flea told chat to go to YouTube auction and run prices up and don't buy, then something to whatnot. Prior to chat, contact flashlight company. Olight told chat to mass report YouTube again to whatnot. It's so stupid. Yes, thanks, Dad. If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button. Appreciate you. Defendant Robert Kesey was part owner and manager of defendant Glades. The eastern timber rattlesnake was a venomous snake listed as a threatened species in the state of New York. And that's and I'm going to call this the timber rattler just because it's a baseball team. New York law prohibiting the taking, transportation, possession, or sale of any species of wildlife considered threatened in New York State without a permit. See New York State Environmental Conservation Law, the statute. And here is my thing. I do not like reptiles. I am not a reptile person by any means. However, that being said, there are certain laws, conservation laws. Um, there's a reason why when you go hunting, you can only get certain species at certain times. You can only get certain numbers. You have to have tags. There is a reason they do that. It's to monitor and maintain the number of species and the number of wildlife. The less wildlife of a certain species you have, you can't hunt them, you can't transport them, you can't do anything. The more, like wild white-tailed deer, that's why every state has a long hunting season, because they need to get down the population, because deer reproduce like rabbits. If you know, you know. Um, Another thing to consider is the fact that he only has an easement to his driveway, meaning he doesn't own the land. He has the right to use it. There's that too. When there was the easement said, I'm like, an easement is a setback. It's not. Oh, it, yeah. Haven't owned many properties, but I've known people who have owned enough properties to know that like certain laws and certain regulations, just because it's your driveway doesn't mean you own all of it. Yeah, timber rattlers are protected in most eastern states. Yeah. In the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, it was unlawful to hunt, take, catch, kill, or possess the eastern timber rattlesnake without first procuring a permit. The eastern indigo snake, and I am not a snake person by any means, was a non-venomous snake listed as threatened species in the state of Florida under state law, which prohibited the take, possession, transport, or sale of eastern indigo snakes without a permit. See Florida Administrative Code 68A 27, and the numbers really aren't that big of aren't that, you know. Eastern indigo snake was also listed as a threatened species under federal law, and that's why he's being charged in federal court, not Florida, not Pennsylvania, not New York. He is being charged in federal court because he broke federal laws. Nope. 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 No. 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 My neighbor the other day came up to me and she's like, just a heads up, when the little's playing outside, I saw a few snakes come through here the other day. And I'm like, oh, great. That's awesome. I think she has 3 boys, so I'm pretty sure her 3 boys will look out for the little, but, because they really like her. But that doesn't mean that I'm like, oh, great. Between the venomous spiders and the venomous snakes, I'm like, yeah, I love living here. And sorry, Dad, I know I'm not making it very appealing to leave where the air hits your face or hurts your face, but here we go. The eastern indigo snake was also listed as a threatened species under federal law. Federal law prohibited the take, possession after take, interstate delivery, receipt, carry, transport, or shipment in the course of commercial activity, or sale or offer for sale. You don't even have to sell them. You have to just offer them for sale. No. No, no, no. Without a permit. Prohibiting violation of regulations pertaining to threatened species. 50 CFR Statute 1721A, C, D, E, F, providing prohibitions for endangered species, and A 1731A, applying prohibitions for endangered species to threatened species, subject to certain limitations. In the state of New Jersey, it was illegal to possess a king snake or any other non-game species of reptile or amphibian apart from accepted species without first receiving an appropriate permit. Defining non-game species to be any wildlife for which a legal hunting or trapping season has not been established. In New Jersey, prohibiting possession of any non-game species of reptile or amphibian without required permits. Listing exotic non-game species requiring a permit for possession, including king snakes. Exempting certain species from permit requirements. A permit shall be required for any exotic mammals, birds, reptiles, or amphibians or non-game species not specifically exempted by Section 4.4. I will stick to dogs, cats, you know. the conspiracy. From in or about 2007 through in or about December 2008, the exact days being unknown to the grand jury in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania and elsewhere, defendants, you know, collectively known as the Dirk Faces, conspired and agreed together with others known and unknown to the grand jury to commit an offense against the United States, that is, to knowingly engage in conduct that involves the sale and purchase of, the offer of sale and purchase of, the intent to sell and purchase wildlife, specifically snakes, with a market value in excess of $350. To break to break these laws, you don't have to charge much or you don't have to offer much. $350 is, in the grand scheme of things, is not that much money. However, so funny, Gator Boy went to off lizards in South Florida. Flea lied to Chat. She didn't want Chat to know he'd off them. Those lizards are harming the natural wildlife in Florida. Yeah, and I hear you guys got a problem with oh crap, now I can't even think of the lizard. But they there's people who their entire business is to get rid of these invasive species. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And knowingly transport, sell, receive, acquire, and purchase said wildlife in interstate commerce, knowing that said wildlife was taken, possessed, transported, and sold in violation and in manner unlawful and under the laws of regulations of Florida, specifically Florida Administrative Code 68A, New York, specifically New York State Environmental Conservation Law, and all of those. Look at all of these. Like all of these. Burmese python's a problem as well. Iguanas, thank you. Why it wasn't coming to my brain? I could see a picture of it. I just could not. Like, yep. And that's one of the reasons I live in Georgia and not Florida. It's not the only reason, but yeah, it's one of the reasons I will never move to Florida. Manner and means. It was part of the conspiracy that defendants co-owned and operated Defendant Glades, a business that bought and sold wildlife. Defendants obtained wildlife for sale by purchasing wildlife that they knew had been illegally collected from the wild. Maybe goats, rabbits, or chickens. Yeah, we had chickens. We can't have chickens here. I kind of miss our chickens. McGinnis and Kesey transported this wildlife to Defendant Glades in Bushnell, Florida, so that Glades could sell the wildlife. Hey, Freckled. Imagine Gator Boy chasing giant lizards with a butterfly net. Oh my goodness. They obtained and attempted to obtain wildlife for sale by collecting and attempting to collect animals from the wild in locations in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and elsewhere in violation of state wildlife laws. Defendants transported this wildlife to Defendant Glades in Bushnell, Florida, so they could sell. And I'm going to keep repeating that. Defendant McGinnis, Mackett, whatever the frick his name is, and Rob Roy, who the hell named you, attempted to obtain wildlife for sale by transporting illegally possessed wildlife from Bushnell, Florida to person one, an agent of Defendant Glades in Pennsylvania, whose identity is known to the grand jury, and asking person number one to breed the wildlife and sell its offspring. That just sounds a little illegal. Defendant later asked that person number one to sell the wildlife to obtain proceeds for Glades and impede a possible enforcement action. In furtherance of the conspiracy, Defendant Glades and the other two and others known and unknown to the grand jury committed the following overt acts in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania and elsewhere. In or about 2007, Defendant Kesey traveled from Florida to Sellersville, Pennsylvania, where he met person number one, who was an agent of Defendant Glades. At some point during the following approximately 2 days, Kesey and person number one traveled to the town of Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, and in that vicinity collected 2 eastern timber rattlers from the wild without a permit in violation of Pennsylvania law. During the trip described in paragraph 14, defendant Kesey and person 1 also traveled to the Pine Barrens area of New Jersey where they collected reptiles from the wild, including a king snake, which they possessed in violation of New Jersey law. After the trip described in paragraph 14, defendant Kesey transported the eastern timber rattlers and other wildlife collected from the wild to defendant Glades in Florida. And not only is that just illegal, but now you're like, there's a reason that certain species aren't in certain areas. It's like they're native to certain areas. Like, just let them stay in certain areas. I don't understand. It's like Roy joking about the Burmese, or not the Burmese python, but the whatever the baseball team is named after in Arizona, Diamondbacks. Bringing a diamondback to Georgia or Florida. Like, that would be technically considered an invasive species. So not only are you messing with nature and the just letting shit be, but now you are making invasive species in places that they shouldn't be. There's a reason they're native to the Northeast. Keep them there. It's just so, if they naturally move down, that's fine. That's nature evolving. However, we don't need to, there are certain things we don't need to put our hands into, and that's one of them. Medics we had at Fort Bliss used to have classes on catching, gutting, and cooking rattlesnakes every time we went to the. No, thank you. You get diamondback rattlesnakes in Florida. I wonder if that's Robbie's fault. Just a thought. Can we blame Robbie for that too? All right. On or about 2008, defendant possessed a pair of eastern indigo snakes without a permit in violation of Florida law. In about 2008, they shipped these 2 eastern indigo snakes from Bushnell, Florida to person 1 in Sellersville, Pennsylvania, with the understanding that person 1 would breed the snakes and then sell the resulting offspring, share the proceeds of the sales with them. Neither 3 of them had a permit to possess, carry, transport, ship, sell, or offer to sell eastern indigo snakes. On or about August 8th, person 2 and person 3, individuals known to the grand jury, collected 2 adult eastern timber rattlesnakes from the wild in New York State in violation of New York law. Persons 2 and 3 determined that at least one of these 2 adult snakes was pregnant. Person number 2 and person number 3 contacted 1, a representative of defendant Glades in Pennsylvania, by telephone and inquired whether Glades would be interested in purchasing the adult snakes and or their offspring. Yeah, this right here. Hey, expert, how are you? Much love. I'm off to the hospital. You're in my ear, but I can't chat. You have y'all, if you need anything, you let me know. Like, if you need somebody an outsider to just put a foot up somebody's butt. Trust me, my dad is in the chat and could warn. He used to warn nursing staffs about me. I'm that bitch. I also had the pager numbers of the surgeon, so I also had that. But yes, this right here, prayers from Dan and the rest of the chat. Oh, my chat just needs some prayers, y'all. If you're the praying type, just everybody in my chat just could use some prayers. On or about September 21st, 2008, person 2 and person 3 traveled from New York State to a location near Easton, Pennsylvania, where they met person 1 and sold him approximately 15 juvenile eastern timber rattlers and 2 adult. Does anybody know how many babies a snake generally has? I don't know that much about snakes. So 15 juveniles and 2 adult eastern timber rattlesnakes in exchange for approximately $900 of total defendant Glades store credit. That's pretty damn cheap. On or about September 21st, 2008, person 1 shipped from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to Tampa, Florida, the 2 eastern timber rattlesnakes, adults, all but 2 of the juvenile eastern timber rattlers, which he had purchased from person 2 and person 3. The shipment was addressed to defendant Glades. On or about September 23rd, 2008, defendant Robbie McDumnuts picked up from the Tampa, Florida airport the package containing the eastern timber rattlesnakes that had been shipped by person 1. In or about November 2008, defendant Kezi met person 1 at a reptile show in Virginia and received from him the remaining 2 juvenile rattlesnakes that person 1 had purchased on behalf of defendant Glades from persons 2 and person 3. In or about December of 2008, defendant Robbie, having heard that search warrants had been executed at the residence of persons 2 and 3, asked person 1 to get rid of the eastern indigo snakes, suggesting that person 1 sell the eastern indigo snakes and then send defendant Glades a portion of the proceeds of the sale, all in violation of Title 18 U.S. Code, Section 371. No. And count 2, transport interstate commerce of wildlife taken in violation of state law. The grand jury further charges that paragraphs 1 through 8 of count 1 are incorporated herein. On or about September 21st, 2008, in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania and elsewhere, defendants Glades Herp Farm. I can't look at that name without laughing every time. And Robbie, individually and by and through the actions of their agents and employees, knowingly engaged in conduct that involved the sale and purchase of, the offer of sale and purchase of, and the intent to sell and purchase wildlife, that is, eastern timber rattlesnakes, with a market value in excess of $350, and knowingly transported, sold, received, acquired, and purchased such wildlife in interstate commerce, knowing that such wildlife was taken, possessed, transported, and sold in violation of a manner unlawful under the laws and regulations of New York, and then the codes. So that was that was his indictment. And that indictment, that count 2 only applied to him as co-owner of Kezi as co-owner of the farm and the other defendant. So that might explain why the other defendant got more prison time. However, we're going to read the transcripts and we're going to find out. And the expert, if you want to help me read these transcripts, I would be greatly appreciated. Because this should be a fun time. All right, guys. But that is all I have for you today. There are more documents to come, but that's my little preview of, Gator Boy. Gator Boy, you talked about going to prison. You joked with certain other people about what happened in prison and going to prison, but nobody's actually read your documents until now. So if you hate me, I don't care. Because you know what? You fucked around, you annoyed me, and now I'm because it's one thing to talk about it. It's one thing to hear about it. It's another thing to read the documents. And that's what I'm here for. The entertainment value of reading the documents, and not like he cares, because in order to be embarrassed, you have to have a conscience, and he's shown that he's not only has no conscience, but conscience. Now he's told his daughter not to have one either. So, Oh, please spinning that Robbie didn't lie, and the P.S. we shall see the newest spin. Yeah. I mean, in this right here, process server, it is Florida. It is Florida. So there's that. But anyway, guys, I have to get going. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.